Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're stepping into the world of Taekwondo.
Yeah, we're using Taekwondo Basics by Shaw Scott that you sent over. Gonna try and pull out the core ideas, the foundations.
And right off the bat, the source calls it an exact science of self-defense.
Mm-hmm. Direct, efficient. Sort of contrasts it with what it calls over-exaggerated techniques you might find elsewhere. And then, of course, it became an Olympic sport. Big evolution.
It really is. I think most people now picture those amazing Olympic kicks, right?
Sure, yeah.
But this source reminds us it started, well, differently. Grew out of Korean and martial arts after World War II, lots of different schools, or kwans.
Right, and that unification process took a while.
Exactly. So today we want to explore that history, those core elements for you.
Sounds good. Let's start with those kwans. The book really stresses understanding them is key to getting modern Korean martial arts and Taekwondo itself.
They were the building blocks.
Pretty much, yeah. Each with its own unique start.
Okay, so the first one mentioned is Cheongdo Kwan, founded by Lee Won-kook. This was the first martial arts school in modern Korea, the first to feed into Taekwondo.
And Lee Won-kook's background is pretty significant.
Yeah, he went to Japan back in 1926, studied Shotokan karate directly under Gichin Funakoshi.
Wow, Funakoshi himself, the founder of Shotokan, that's a direct lineage.
Huge influence, you'd imagine.
No doubt. So that Shotokan base must have shaped his early teaching in Korea.
Absolutely. He opened his school in Seoul, September 1944. But here's where it gets complicated.
Oh.
Well, it was during the Japanese occupation. And for a Korean to get permission to open a martial arts school then, highly unusual.
Okay, yeah, that would raise eyebrows.
Lee had connections with the Japanese governor general. So naturally, rumors started flying that maybe he was a collaborator, a sympathizer.
You can see how that would happen, a really tense political climate. Martial arts schools weren't just about exercise back then.
Exactly. And the suspicion was real. After Korea was liberated in 45, he was actually put on trial because of those ties. Had to close the school temporarily.
Wow. So it wasn't smooth sailing even after liberation.
Not at all. It didn't reopen until 1953, after the Korean War. By then, Lee Won-kook was older, wasn't around as much.
But who took over the teaching?
It fell mostly to Sun Duk-sung and his trainees. And as tends to happen.
Let me guess, some advanced students branched off.
You got it. They started their own kwans, building on that Cheongdo Kwan foundation.
That's how these things evolve, isn't it? New generations, new ideas.
Okay, next up, Chosun Yumu Kwan, which later became Jido Kwan.
Okay.
This one actually started even earlier, in 1931, as a judo school founded by Lee Kyung-suk.
Judo, so grappling focused initially.
Right. But after World War II, Lee asked Chun Sang-suk to set up a striking program, Kwan Bop, fist method.
Ah, so broadening the skill set, incorporating striking. Makes sense in post-war Korea.
This striking program was the Chosun Yunu Kwan Boppo. Sadly, Chun Sang-suk passed away.
Oh.
His senior student, Yoon Kwae-byung, took over and renamed the whole thing Jidu Kwan Wisdom Way School.
Jido Kwan. Got it.
Now, Yoon was interesting. When the push for unifying all the Kwans came in the 50s, he wasn't keen. He wanted Jidu Kwan to stay independent.
Ah, so not everyone was on board with the unification idea from the start.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
There was internal disagreement, and eventually Yoon was actually ousted as president. Lee Chong-woo took over.
Politics within the Kwan itself.
Seems like it. And Lee Chong-woo really pushed Jido Kwan forward. They became known for winning tournaments in South Korea.
Success breeds influence.
Right. And Lee himself became a big figure in the Korea Taekwondo Association and later the World Taekwondo Federation.
So Jido Kwan really made its mark, especially competitively.
Then there's Mudu Kwan. This one's a bit unique because it led to two different, though related, paths.
Oh, how so?
Tang Soo Do and the Taekwondo branch of Mudu Kwan, both trace back to one founder, Hwang Ki.
Okay, Hwang Ki, one founder, two branches. Interesting.
His story is, well, it's quite something. He claimed he secretly studied old Korean arts like Subak Do and Taekyon during the occupation.
Secretly.
Then he went to Manchuria, studied Chinese martial arts, and later it was revealed, as the source puts it, that this included karate.
Revealed later. Makes you wonder about the initial narrative.
Doesn't it? Anyway, he officially starts his system November 9th, 1945, calls it Tang Soo Do Bu.
Tang Soo Do.
And Tang Soo, it translates as knife hand, uses the same characters as Japanese karate.
Another connection even in the name.
His first school was literally at a railway station in Seoul. A lot of his first students were railway workers.
That's a cool detail, very practical roots.
Like the others, closed during the Korean War, reopened in '53. He renamed the system Mudu Kwan then, and the organization became the Korea Subak Do Association.
Okay, Mudu Kwan.
Now, jump to 1965. The big push for Kwan unification under the Taekwondo name is happening. Hwarang resists, wants to keep his own thing going.
Sticking to his guns.
But that decision caused a split. Two of his top students, An Young-taek and Hang Chong-soo, they break away.
They wanted to join the unification.
Exactly. They form the Taekwondo branch of Mudu Kwan, and they do join the Korea Taekwondo Association.
So Mudu Kwan itself fractured over this unification issue.
Pretty much. And apparently a lot of other Tang Soo Do practitioners ended up joining this Taekwondo branch too.
So which branch is bigger now?
According to the source, the Taekwondo branch of Mudu Kwan has way more members, something like 500,000. The Tang Soo Do side is smaller.
Wow, that really shows the impact of joining that unified Taekwondo movement.
Okay, next, Chang Mu Kwan. Founded 1946 at the YMCA in Seoul by Yoon Byung-in.
Yoon Byung-in, okay.
His background. Said to have studied a Chinese-style Zhuanpa, or Chuanfa, during the occupation, and also supposedly karate under Toyama Kankin in Japan.
Toyama Kankin, another Shotokan founder figure, wasn't he?
Yes, exactly. So again, that mix of influences, Chinese, Japanese karate.
It's a recurring theme. These founders were drawing from multiple sources.
Yoon taught karate for about a year at Tosun Yunmu Kwan Kwan Bupbu before starting Chang Mu Kwan.
Okay.
It apparently started strong, like 500 students. But Yoon's training was reputedly really severe.
How
Severe enough that numbers dropped to around 200 pretty quick. Intense stuff. Lee Nam-suk became the first official instructor in '46.
High dropout rate speaks volumes about the training intensity.
Then Yoon disappeared during the Korean War. After the war, Lee Nam-suk and another senior student, Kim Soon-bae, they reopened Changwoo Kwan.
So it survived the war under new leadership.
Then we have Kangduk 1. This one formed a bit later, 1956.
Okay.
It was started by Hong Jung-pyo and Park Chul-hee.
Yeah.
They were senior students from that second version of Changwoo Kwan.
So another split.
Yeah, it seems they had disagreements with Lee Nam-suk and Kim Soon-bae, so they left, started their own Kwan. Kangduk 1, House of Teaching Generosity.
Personal conflicts, different visions, leading to new schools again.
Then, Sonmu Kwan. Re-established in Seoul '53 after closing for the war. Founder was Roh Byung-jik.
Roh Byung-jik?
He started training back in 1936 in Japan. And guess what he studied?
Let me guess. Shotokan karate.
Bingo. Under Funakoshi. Just like Lee Won-kook from Cheongdo Kwan.
Wow. That Shotokan connection is incredibly strong among these early founders. Funakoshi's influence was massive.
Seems like it. Okay, last one on this list. Odu Kwan.
Odu Kwan.
Founded by General Choi Hong-hai and Major Nam Tae-hai.
Military figures. That sounds significant.
Very. Nam Tae-hai had studied at Cheongdo Kwan right after independence, then taught at the Army Military Signal School in '47.
Met Choi Hong-hai there.
Okay, so the military connection was there from the start.
Absolutely. And because General Choi was, well, a general, Odu Kwan became the main martial art taught in the Korean Army.
That gives it huge reach and influence.
Exactly. And here's a really key point for the unification story. A lot of guys joining in the military already had black belts from other Kwans.
Okay.
But because of Choi's position, the military tended to only recognize black belts from Odu Kwan and Cheongdo Kwan.
Seriously. So if you were, say, a Mudo Kwan black belt, you'd likely have to retrain and retest under the Odu Kwan or Cheongdo Kwan system to get your rank acknowledged in the military.
Wow. Okay, I can see how that would cause friction, but also
push people towards unifying.
Exactly. If you want your students' ranks recognized by the powerful military institution, you'd be motivated to join the club, so to speak.
The source points to this as a major factor driving the Kwans together. So these individual schools are established, the war is over, attempts at unification start gaining steam again.
Makes sense. The war must have paused everything.
Right. Then, 1959, they finally do it. The affiliated Kwans form the Korea Taekwondo Association.
Okay, the first official body.
General Choi Hong-ki is the first president. Roh Byung-jik and Yoon Kwae-byung are VPs. And Hwang-ki is chief director.
Hwang-ki. But didn't you say he resisted?
Yeah, his involvement was short-lived. He left that same year, 1959.
Figures. He wanted his own Korea Subak-do Association.
Then more disruption. 1961, military coup in South Korea.
Oh boy, more political instability.
And it leads to the collapse of that first Korea Taekwondo Association.
Man, just when they got started, politics really tangled things up.
A new body forms, the Korea Tae-Soo-Do Association, laid some groundwork, but again, internal conflicts.
Tae-Soo-Do, not Taekwondo yet.
Not yet. Hwang Ki was apparently unhappy with being told how to teach. He resigned in '62. General Choi Hong-hai's influence also waned.
Why Choi's?
He'd been associated with the president ousted in the coup. The new president, Park Chung-hee, apparently wasn't a fan.
Political fallout again?
Choi resigned from the military, got sent off as ambassador to Malaysia.
Convenient way to sideline him, maybe?
Could be. General Choi Myung-shin became president of the Tae-Soo-Do Association in late '62. Meanwhile, Hwang Ki's independent Korea Subakdu Association actually got government recognition.
So Hwang Ki managed to keep his Mu-Duk Kwan-Subak-Do separate officially. That explains why Tang-Soo-Do still exists distinctly today.
Exactly. Then, 1965, General Choi Hong-hai returns to Korea.
Right.
Gets elected president of the Korea Tae-Soo-Do Association.
Back in the game.
And he pushes for a name change. Back to Taekwondo. It passes by 1 vote.
1 vote. Wow's call.
Then, 1966. Choi forms the International Taekwondo Federation, the ITF, aimed at global promotion.
Okay, the ITF. Going international.
But again, internal politics.
Yeah.
He ends up leaving South Korea later that year, moves himself and the ITF headquarters to Canada.
So the ITF starts outside of Korea's direct governmental influence. That's a major split.
And that sets up the 2 main branches we see today. The World Taekwondo Federation, or WTF, based at Kukkiwon in Seoul.
Right. The South Korean-based one, often now just called World Taekwondo, or WT.
Good point, yes.
Yeah.
And the International Taekwondo Federation, ITF, originally in Canada. The source notes the WTF-WT has way more members globally.
And they have different philosophies, right? The ITF and WTF-WT.
Yeah, that's a key distinction.
Yeah.
The ITF under Choi maintained a strong focus on self-defense as primary, competition secondary.
Yep.
The WTF-WT, especially after Taekwondo became an Olympic sport, put a major emphasis on the sport aspect, on competition.
Which led to some streamlining of techniques for scoring points in matches.
Exactly. Focusing on movements that are quick and effective under Olympic rules. But the source is careful to add.
That self-defense is still taught in WTF-WT schools.
Right. It really depends on the specific school and the instructor's focus.
Makes sense. So different emphasis, but maybe not entirely different art.
Both have their own sets of forms, Poomse. But the underlying techniques are largely the same style, even if applied differently. Some minor terminology differences, too.
So distinct paths, shared roots.
Okay, so if someone's listening and thinking, hey, I want to try Taekwondo, choosing the right school is super important.
Absolutely critical for sticking with it, for actually learning what you want to learn.
The source says don't just jump in. What's best for one person isn't best for another. Treat it like a scientific choice. Study the elements.
Good advice. So what should people look for?
It gives 10 key questions to ask when you observe a class. Things like, is this school teaching what I want? Is the teaching style beneficial for me?
Good start. What else?
Does the senior instructor actually teach, or is it mostly students? How are beginners treated with respect, left alone, or helped by senior belts?
Yeah, the learning environment matters hugely, especially for beginners.
How long has the school been around? Is it part of a big organization or totally independent? What's the main focus, self-defense or competition?
Knowing the school's primary goal is key. Self-defense focus might feel different from a competition-heavy school.
What are the belt promotion standards? Time between belts, costs involved, and, crucially, do you have to sign a long contract, or is it month to month?
The business side. Important practical stuff. That contract question is a big one.
Definitely. The source warns about getting sucked in by hype or hard sells.
Yeah, avoid the pressure tactics.
And don't just go by titles. World champion, 9th degree black belt. Sounds impressive, but can they actually teach? That's what matters.
Totally agree. Great practitioner doesn't automatically equal great teacher.
It also mentions training intensity can vary. Like traditionally in Korea, methods could be super harsh, getting hit with bamboo for mistakes.
Whoa, okay, yeah, that's probably not common in the West now.
Hopefully not. So find an instructor whose methods work for you. The big recommendation.
Let me guess.
Yeah.
Try before you buy.
Exactly. Try it for a month before signing anything long-term. See how you feel, if you're learning, if a school refuses.
Red flag. Maybe more interested in your money than your training.
That's the implication.
Uh-huh.
So, okay, you find a school, you join, you'll notice some formalities. They're there to foster respect.
Like bowing.
Bowing, yeah. And the uniform, the dobak. Loose pants, top, belt. Beginners wear white. You're taught to respect it, keep it clean, fold it right.
The uniform and belt, they signify rank, progress, part of the discipline.
And speaking of belts, let's talk about the black belt. It's not the end of the road.
Definitely not. More like a serious beginning.
Takes time to get there, maybe 1.5 to 4 years. For first dan, depends on the school. Usually need to be 16 for an adult black belt. Younger kids might get a junior version, a PUM rank,
Right.
and first to third dan black belts. Still considered advanced students, not masters.
Okay, so when does master status kick in?
Generally, fourth dan is seen as instructor level. Fifth dan and up is typically considered master level subumnum.
Subumnum. Good to know the progression. It takes years.
So what happens in a typical class? The source lists about 11 core elements, though emphasis can vary.
Okay, what are they?
Bowing, warm-up, maybe horse stance punches, knuckle push-ups, then blocking practice, punching drills, kicking practice.
Fundamentals.
Forms practice Poomse, self-defense training against grabs and holds. One-step sparring, prearranged attack and defense.
Building blocks for sparring.
Three-step sparring, 3 consecutive attacks.
Yeah.
Then free sparring, usually no contact or semi-contact in mixed classes. Full contact is often separate.
Right, keeping it safe for different levels.
And often, meditation at the end. Sitting or kneeling, deep breaths, refocusing.
Calming down, centering. Important part.
Students line up by rank, seniors in front, within ranks, usually by time at the school.
Order and hierarchy.
And you'll hear the kai-hap, that martial arts yell.
Yeah, the shout. It's not just noise, is it?
No, it's meant to be a conscious expulsion of ki, internal energy from the abdomen, believed to add power and focus.
Engaging the core, focusing intent.
Students are told to kai-hap with every technique right from the start.
Instilling that connection early.
So your very first class, the source says expect excitement, maybe some adrenaline. It's a new world.
I bet. Lots to take in.
You'll get instruction on basic stuff, how to bow, entering the dojang, the training hall, how to wear the dobok, tie the belt, probably from an assistant instructor.
Helping ease you in.
Yeah. You'll likely learn some basic moves, stretches, fundamental blocks, kicks, punches, even before the main class starts.
A little pre-class prep.
Then you'll line up, bow, do the warm-ups with everyone else. And right away, you'll likely see the 2 levels of instruction the source mentioned.
Self-defense and competition.
Exactly. And you'll learn that some effective self-defense moves aren't allowed in sparring because they're too dangerous for sport. Understanding that difference is key.
That's a crucial distinction to grasp early on. Different contexts, different rules.
And safety is huge. You don't want injuries sidelining you. Stretching before every class is rule number 1.
Absolutely. Never kick high or do advanced stuff cold, asking for muscle tears.
And train at your own level. Don't try black belt stuff as a yellow belt. Progress gradually. Don't sacrifice balance just to kick higher.
Right. Prudence, conscious action, minimize the risks.
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Stances, blocks, strikes, kicks. Taekwondo is known for kicks, but it's a whole system.
More than just kicking, yeah. A full self-defense system aiming for physical mastery.
Let's start with blocks. Basic low block forearm sweeps down for low attacks. Knife hand middle block, both hands in knife hand, sweep across the torso in a back stance.
Foundational defenses, protecting the center line and lower body.
Hand and arm strikes. The straight punch linear, from the shoulder, fist horizontal, keep the elbow slightly bent at impact.
Why bend?
Balance prevents hyperextension injury. It's fast, hard to defend, preferred for self-defense over, say, a big looping roundhouse punch.
Directness and speed over power sometimes.
Seems like for self-defense. Then, the palm strike. Fingers bent back, striking with the base of the palm. Powers from the shoulder.
Where do you aim that?
Vulnerable head spots. Under the nose, bridge of the nose, temples, jaw.
Ouch! Effective target.
Knife hand strike. Fingers extended, hand tight. Strike with the base of the hand, little finger side. Powered by arm extension, elbow snap, but keep it slightly bent.
Got to keep that hand tight, right? Source warned about breaking bones if you relax.
Exactly. Targets, neck, nose, temples, ribs. Precise spots.
Needs accuracy.
Then the reverse knife hand. Thumb pressed into the palm. Strike with the inside edge of the hand. Often upward motion to nose, throat, neck, groin.
Different angle, different targets. Adds versatility.
Elbow strikes close combat weapons. Forward and rear versions. Forward elbow. Pivot waist, step in, elbow bent at shoulder level. Good if someone grabs you from the front.
Closing the distance, using the structure.
Rear elbow. Pivot backward, unleash the bent elbow. For grabs from behind or attackers nearby. Waist pivot adds momentum.
Powerful tools for when things get really close.
Okay, the main event for many, kicks. Source says effective combat kicks need speed, efficiency, and they need to be hard to block.
Makes sense. Flashy but slow isn't practical.
Remember the two legs. Base leg for balance, striking leg for the kick. Let's start with the front kick.
The foundational kick. What's the common mistake?
Focusing only on height, sacrificing technique and balance. Staying flat-footed, falling backward.
Seen that happen. Looks awkward and ineffective.
Correct way. Use momentum to move slightly forward. Rise onto the ball of the base foot, keep the base knee slightly bent, and aim for solar plexus level. More effective for combat than just kicking high.
Practical targeting over just showing off flexibility. Good for close range groin, solar plexus, stomach, under the jaw.
But range can be an issue. So refocus power inward towards that solar plexus target, but really extend the kick to cover distance.
Okay.
There's also a momentum-driven version. Let the kick pull you forward, slide the base foot as you land. More range, more power.
Adds dynamism.
Defensive front kick. Quick, penetrating, stops an attack. Best when the opponent is moving towards you. Charge, spinning kick, roundhouse aim for midsection or buttocks.
Using their momentum against them. Smart.
Low front kick. Targets the shin. Great for intercepting their front kick. Disrupts them, opens them up for a counter, like a punch. Fast, efficient, needs good aim though.
Requires precision. Low-level drills help with that.
Advanced defensive front kick. Read their pre-attack tells. Launch it preemptively. Shoulder, stops punch. Solar plexus, stops punches, roundhouses, pushes back. Jaw, stops attack cold.
Wow, that's high-level awareness and timing. The front kick is incredibly versatile.
Side kick next. Basic version. Shift weight mostly to front base leg. Rear leg comes up, knee bent to waist level. Pivot 180 on ball of base foot. Hip turns the target, lean sideways, extend leg. Impact with heel or outer edge of foot.
Powerful linear pick. Requires good hip rotation and balance.
Lid leg side kick. Raise the front leg to hip level, then kick. Faster, less warning. Target shin, knee, midsection, maybe face, advanced. Good interceptor against rushes or low kicks. Sets up follow-ups.
Lead leg adds speed and surprise. Good tactical option.
Hook kick. Starts like a roundhouse, but the leg snaps back, hooking the target, head upper body, with the heel.
A snapping, retracting motion. Different angle.
Lid leg hook kick is faster offensively, needs close range, needs to be quick, first strike ideally, but telegraphed otherwise.
Timing and distance are critical for the hook kick.
Back kick. Turn upper body. Lift bent striking leg, extend straight back, heel impact. Look over the shoulder at the target.
Striking behind you. Powerful but needs coordination.
Defensive back kick is great against punches. Kick their midsection as they punch, your head moves off the line.
Nice counter. Simultaneous defense and offense.
Jumping back kick. Bend base leg, thrust up while spinning, kick higher, chest hit. Avoid low attacks. Source warns against just using wild momentum. Focus on controlled upward thrust.
Adds height and evasion, but control is key to avoid injury and maintain power.
Stepping side kick. Step forward with lead leg while launching rear leg side kick. Powerful, rapid, hard to defend. Opponent might just have to backpedal. Can follow with another step.
Closing distance and kicking simultaneously. Very aggressive.
Jumping front kick. Traditional version can be predictable. Redefined version, more direct, like the basic front kick but jumping. Rear leg pushes off. Front leg kicks forward powerfully. Base leg launches up too. Forward momentum. Faster, harder to stop.
Applying that direct principle even in the jump. Makes sense.
Jumping side kick. Traditional. Step forward with rear leg to launch. Strike with your leg. Redefined. Keep striking leg retracted until close, then extend rapidly at impact for more power.
Holding the technique back until the last moment for maximum impact. Interesting refinement.
Lastly, knee strike. Doesn't need tons of training, but has limits. Knee joint is sensitive, easy to hurt if done wrong.
Gotta be careful with knees.
Always keep knee bent during strike. Isolates impact, prevents unnatural bending. Never strike with the side of the knee. Striking point is upper kneecap.
Okay, specific technique points for safety and effect.
Power comes from hip, driven by upper leg muscles. Rapid lifting motion. Targets. Groin versus holds. Ribs, kidneys, underjaw. Advanced. Close quarters weapon only. Not for distance.
Powerful up close, but limited range and needs proper execution.
Okay, so those are the basic tools. But just doing the movements isn't enough. Conditioning is vital.
Right. Mind-body coordination, stamina, flexibility.
Stretching first. Essential for flexibility. Injury prevention. Always warm up first, light shaking, rubbing, jumping jacks. Then stretch slowly. Hold stretches at least a minute. Repeat 3 times per side. Side back stretches, forward stretches, seated forward stretches.
Foundational. Can't emphasize stretching enough. Proper warm-up and stretching prevents so many problems.
Then cardio. Taekwondo needs endurance, stamina. Running is great, good for cardio. Builds leg strength, control pace, distance. Warm up first, brisk walk. Start small, half mile. Gradually increase. Aim for maybe 4 miles max for average folks.
Build up gradually. Don't overdo it, especially at the start.
For competitors, there's the boxer's run. Alternate jogging, mod 10 mins with sprints, 3 mins like a round. Built endurance for bursts of activity.
Simulates the demands of a match. But be careful with sprints, right?
Yeah, only do it once you can comfortably run 4 miles. Improper sprinting isn't effective, strains the heart. Cool down and stretch after. And be aware, running can be hard on joints. Cement is worst, track is better, beach is uneven. Listen to your body.
Good precautions. Running isn't for everyone, or needs care.
Bicycling is another option, less joint impact. Same principles. Stretch, warm up, slow ride, start small, mile out back, gradually increase up to 20 miles. Can add sprints, 3+ mins hard pedaling, alternate with normal. Stationary bikes work too. Cool down, slow pedal last 10 mins, stretch after.
Key point for cycling.
Bike fit. Crucial. Wrong fit leads to joint problems.
Yeah.
Frame height, seat adjustment, leg almost straight at bottom of stroke, slight bend.
Low impact cardio, but proper setup is essential.
Swimming. Excellent cardio, very low injury risk. Still, stretch, warm up, jacks, push-ups, slow laps. Set lap goals. Overhand stroke is good. Natural pace. Start a pool for safety. Gradually increase distance. Aim for a mile. Builds great stamina for Taekwondo.
Any swimming precautions?
Pace yourself. Cramps are dangerous in open water. Only swim Lake Ocean with supervision.
Makes sense. Safety first, especially in open water.
Weight training. Taekwondo hits the legs hard already. Weights often focus on upper body, arms, shoulders, back, stomach. For power, balance.
Complements the kicking.
Source prefers dumbbells over barbells. Why? They isolate muscles better, prevents dominant side from taking over.
Good point. Ensures balanced development. What exercises?
Curls for biceps, dumbbell thigh to shoulder, elbow still. Forward lifts for shoulders back. Lift dumbbell straight, front to parallel, elbow slightly bent. Bench press for triceps, chest back. Lie down, press dumbbells up, don't lock elbows. Start with maybe 10 reps, 3 sets, increase weight reps gradually.
Standard exercises, but effective for building upper body strength relevant to martial arts power and stability. Focus on form.
Now, beyond the purely physical, there's key internal energy.
The more esoteric side.
Source says low energy. Fatigue might be lack of key. Deep breathing helps increase it. Good to do before training. But it's more than just breath. It's about the Tanjun.
The body's center of gravity. And storehouse for ki, located below the navel.
Exactly. There's an exercise to find it. Stand shoulder width, feet forward, arms relaxed, eyes closed. Focus on breath. Palms up at waist, facing each other. Inhale deep nose. Visualize breath to Tanjun. Raise hands to chest. Hold briefly. Exhale nose. Palms down, lower hands. Visualize breath leaving Tanjun. Do 10+ times daily. Helps identify it. Good before training sparring, too.
A meditative exercise to connect with your center.
Understanding Tanjun is key to balance. Be aware how your center shifts during moves. Adjust to stay balanced. Advanced folks direct breath to Tanjun. Release it as Kai-Hap during techniques.
So the Tai-Hap isn't just from the throat, it's rooted deeper in the Tanjun connected to the breath.
That's the idea. To train it, consciously breathe into Tanjun before a move. Exhale rapidly from Tanjun as Kai-Hap during the move. Takes practice to feel natural.
Connecting breath, center, and technique. Deeper level of integration.
So class training is step 1, but mastery needs personal exploration. Integrating what you learn.
Going beyond just following instructions, making it your own.
Kicking drills, for example, can focus on refining precision or deploying kicks continuously. Repetition deepens understanding, reveals new applications, even for basic kicks. Source lists 6 ways to refine kicks.
6 styles, okay.
Slow speed, master mechanics precisely. Medium speed, understand dynamics. Rapid speed, quick execution with power. Interval, vary speed's intensity like sparring. Dynamic tension, kick with tightened leg muscles. Controlled power, underwater, chest deep water. Slow motion observation of form, structure.
Comprehensive drill variations, covering all aspects from mechanics to application under different conditions. Underwater sounds fascinating.
Training tools help too. Hanging bag, heavy bag. Modern medium bags, 50 pounds. Better than old stiff ones. Alternate basic kicks, front side roundhouse, speed, power, focus. Train both sides. Finish with fast roundhouses for endurance.
Develops power, stamina, targeting. Standard but effective tool.
Striking ball. Improves focus, coordination. Start slow. Light contact, understand targeting. Increase speed, focus. Multiple controlled kicks build concentration. Helps find accuracy weaknesses.
More about precision and control than raw power.
Multiple leg kicking drills. Develop continuous kicking. Example, 10-20 alternating front kicks each leg to one spot. Cardio and targeting.
Building that relentless attack capability.
Back kick training drill. Practice it repeatedly against a target. Refine aim, power.
Dedicated practice for a specific, powerful kick.
Focus glove training with a partner. Hand-foot-eye coordination.
No.
Single glove. Partner calls techniques, you strike. Builds sequential understanding, reaction, coordination. 2 gloves. Partner calls kicks for each foot, moves randomly, forces target location, precision.
Dynamic partner drills. Much more reactive than bag work.
Timing accuracy, drill 1. Partner moves slow, presents obvious targets, drill 2, advanced. Partner moves dynamically, doesn't wait, pulls glove away if you're slow, forces speed, accuracy.
Really simulates the timing challenges of actual sparring. Partner interaction is key.
What about solo training? Mirrored training helps refine style, check form, but doesn't measure contact, and opponents don't stand still.
Limited value can create bad habits if over-relied upon.
Shadow kicking powerfully into air. Source says avoid. Can damage joints, knee, hip, ankle from snapping with no resistance, no focus development.
Yeah, that forceful hyperextension without impact sounds risky.
Effective shadow boxing focuses on controlled movements. Never let momentum take over. Maintain control always. Builds technique, focus without injury.
Control is the key word for safe and effective solo practice.
Okay, free sparring kyorugi. 3 levels mentioned. No contact. Novices learn fundamentals safely. Semi-contact. Intermediate advanced use full arsenal, light contact, experienced combat feel. Full contact. Advanced competitive training for tournaments.
Logical progression, gradually introducing contact and intensity as skill increases. Safety first.
Competitive sparring. 2 main types described. Open tournament, karate tournament style. Square area, 3 judges. Belt weight divisions. Finals can have big weight differences sometimes, especially black belt.
The more traditional tournament format.
Non-WTF tournaments, like ITF schools host, are similar, but just Taekwondo folks. Then Olympic-style Taekwondo. Highly formalized, strict rules, WTF-WT affiliated.
The one most people see now.
Yeah.
Very specific rule set.
Official WTF uniform only. Required protective gear. Vest, headgear, groin, forearm shin guards. Highly trained, certified judges. 8x8 meter mat area. 3 3-minute rounds, 1 minute rest. Points awarded by 4 cornered judges. Need 2 to agree. Referee manages, gives penalties, decides scoreless matches.
Lots of structure and oversight. What techniques are allowed?
Punches, front fist, to torso only, often don't score much. Foot kicks, below ankle, to front sides of torso, vest area, and face sides of head. No knees. Back of head only hit during frontal assault.
Very specific target areas and allowed tools. Tailored for sport safety and scoring.
Preparing for competition starts way before the match. Studio training, drills, cardio, sparring at your school. Goal: prepare for unknown opponent.
Building the foundation long-term.
Your first match. Exhilarating, nerve-wracking. Questions about opponent, how you'll react, expect different styles, new techniques.
The real test, applying skills under pressure against someone new.
Developing competitive skills needs specific drills. Cardio strength endurance drill. Intense circuits, push-ups, kicks, repeat, push limits, find reliable techniques when tired.
Training for fatigue resistance, crucial for later rounds.
Anticipation reaction drill. Partner throws feints, non-committal moves, train reacting defensively without overcommitting. Develop defensive anticipation.
Reading the opponent, not just reacting to full attacks, very important.
Competitive partner training. Focus gloves at higher speed. Perform techniques when winded. Develop pinpoint accuracy. Drill 1. Continuous alternating roundhouses. Partner move spivots. 3-minute rounds.
Simulating match intensity and footwork.
Drill 2. Simulated combat hands behind back. Forces new balance methods while kicking offensively. Partner blocks, no counter. Then switch. Partner tacks. Any kick, you evade without traditional blocks. 3-minute rounds.
Wow, takes away the usual defenses. Forces pure evasion and balance. Tough drill.
Devising a strategic game plan. Based on what works best for you in training sparring, your most accurate, reliable techniques.
Play to your strengths.
4 rules of competition given. 1. Don't use unmastered techniques. Opponent will exploit lack of control. 2. Avoid fancy exaggerated moves. Easy to defend for demos mostly. 3. Don't hesitate. React based on training. Thinking slows you down. 4. Don't overexert early. Opponent will let you tire out.
Solid advice. Stick to what you know. Be efficient. Trust your training. Pace yourself.
But each match is different. Need tailored strategies. Experiment in training to find your best approach. Develop a flexible game plan.
Strategy is key, but adaptability is just as important.
Progressing takes work, time, no overnight mastery. Owning a black belt isn't the same as being a black belt that needs intense training. Be realistic. Ask about expectations at each level.
Manage expectations. The journey is long.
Rising to black belt, the process is more important than the belt itself. That's where fundamentals are mastered.
The learning happens on the way there.
Promotional test assesses physical mental growth. Forms, basics, breaking, sparring, maybe multiple opponents. Prepare by asking instructor seniors what's required. Practice everything. Be ready physically and mentally.
Know what's coming. Be prepared.
Testing fees can be high, $100 plus justy $300 plus for first dan. Covers costs, but source notes it can unfortunately hinder skilled students with less money.
A practical barrier sometimes, sadly.
Taekwondo demonstrations. Exciting way to show skills, introduce the art, attract students. Held at tournaments, festivals, schools. Perform your best stuff, no counterattacks to worry about.
Showcase time. Fun for practitioners and audience.
Elements often include forms, group unison, self-defense demo, simulated attacks, breaking demo, power, precision on boards, etc.
Highlights different facets of the art form, function, power.
The source wraps up by listing resources, federations, associations worldwide, encourages connecting for more learning, also lists books, periodicals for deeper study.
Good pointers for anyone wanting to go further or get involved formally.
So yeah, quite a journey we've taken through Taekwondo basics. History, philosophy, techniques, training, competition.
It really covers a lot of ground. Shows how Taekwondo developed from those early kwans, influenced by various arts, into the global phenomenon it is today. The blend of self-defense roots and sport evolution is fascinating.
It really is. You see the core principles, but also the adaptations. It's clearly a living, breathing art.
Absolutely. And the dedication required, the discipline, it's impressive.
Which brings us to a final thought.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about focus, discipline, perseverance within Taekwondo.
Mm-hmm.
How might those same principles apply outside the Dokkan
Mm.
in other parts of life? Something to maybe mull over.
Definitely worth considering, that transfer of skills and mindset.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.